reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. The Pentagon calls it the most intense day of U.S. strikes since the war in Iran began. And Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane says more than 5,000 targets have been hit since the war began.
We are watching what they're doing, and we are adapting faster than they are.
In Washington, we're hearing today from congressional Democrats.
There seems to be no endgame.
That's Democratic Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, who says conflicting messages from President Trump are making the war deeply unpopular.
Americans are sick and tired of forever wars.
Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is worried about how much the war is costing the nation on a daily basis.
We've seen estimates of $1 to $2 billion a day.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Well, President Trump vowed today to hit Iran 20 times harder if it moves to block the Strait of Hormuz. Iran responded with its own salvos.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk. Iran's parliament speaker has vowed an eye for an eye, saying Tehran will respond in kind to U.S. and Israeli attacks on its infrastructure. This as Iran's military continues to fire drones and missiles at targets in Israel and Arab and Gulf states. And one top Iranian security official appeared to threaten Trump himself, writing on X that, quote, even those bigger than you couldn't eliminate Iran. Be careful not to get eliminated yourself.
Authorities in Toronto are investigating shots that were fired outside the U.S. consulate before dawn today.
2 individuals emerged from the vehicle, discharged at what appears to be a handgun at the front of the building, and then got back into their vehicle and drove southbound.
Well, voters in Georgia are casting ballots today in a special election to fill the congressional seat vacated by Marjorie Taylor Greene. CBS's Skylar Henry.
12 Republicans, 3 Democrats, a Libertarian, and an Independent are all in this race. President Trump threw his support behind District Attorney Clay Fuller, who describes himself as a MAGA warrior and also an America First patriot.
On the Health Watch, CBS's Michael Wallace tells us the FDA indicates the maker of Ozempic failed to report all the suspected side effects of the weight loss drug.
In a warning letter to Novo Nordisk, the FDA cites 2 deaths and a suicide in patients who took semaglutide, the generic name for Ozempic and Wegovy. The agency says the drug maker should have reported the deaths within 15 days of learning about them, as required by federal law, even if it determined the deaths were not related to the drug. It's not clear if the drug or other side effects were to blame. One of the patients died of a stroke.
Wall Street, the Dow is up 232 points. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here?
How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
The Marathon Millionaires tax debate continues in Olympia. We'll get the latest on that from Luke in just a moment. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic still struggling westbound 526, approaching the Boeing plant in Everett. And a crash on Seaway Boulevard north of 526. That's to blame for this slowdown. Stalled vehicles southbound 5, just north of the West Seattle Bridge, is now out of the way. As is that crash we had earlier on Highway 530 in the Darlington area. All lanes open there. Still taking about 71 minutes to get from Everett to Seattle, Everett to Bellevue. About a 63-minute drive right now. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. The political chess match over a millionaire's tax in Washington has stretched deep into the night and now into this morning. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
Yeah, Frank, members of the House have been debating and voting in Olympia since 5:30 yesterday afternoon. Republicans have been introducing amendment after amendment. Their strategy is to get just one of those amendments passed, forcing the bill back to the Senate with just 2 days left in this short legislative session. For instance, here's Republican Joshua Penner on an amendment to change the tax from 9.9% to just 1%.
We would have a top-tier income tax, a top-tier sales tax, and a top-tier tax on gross receipts.
And Democrat Natasha Hill?
A 1% tax doesn't compete or even get close to what we see over in Idaho, one of our neighbor states. They're at 5.7. And they don't even give you a free milli.
Free milli because the bill taxes households on income above $1 million, and that threshold, Frank, close to 15 hours and still 28 amendments to go.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey, thank you. Police in Washington will no longer be allowed to hide their faces while dealing with the public. State Senate gave final approval yesterday to a bill banning face-concealing masks. That includes balaclavas, ski masks, and tactical masks. That bill now moves on to the governor's desk. Starbucks will close 5 Seattle area stores next month, including those at the Seattle Center Armory and Seattle Children's Hospital. Seattle police say a man was assaulted during a street racing takeover near the Space Needle. Belltown resident telling KIRO 7 it's a sign that slow police response times need to change.
I say I've been here for 16 years, and I've just seen more and more and more of this, and more difficult time in getting police responses.
Officers say the crowd had scattered before they arrived. Trial started Monday for the man accused of shooting a disabled veteran in a wheelchair along Seattle's waterfront. This was last July. Prosecutors say he confronted the 68-year-old, demanded to see military ID, then opened fire, leaving that veteran wounded, according to KOMO 4. KIRO News Radio weather is calling for some occasional rain throughout the day, a high of 46 degrees, rain and 50 tomorrow, showers early on Thursday, and then steady rain throughout the afternoon, in fact, with a high of 45. And at 5 p.m., we've got that blizzard warning in the mountains going into effect. It's 36 degrees right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Oh, do we got a packed show for you today? I am by myself, of course. All these bright lights in there, and I'm still don't see the light here on this monitor and TV. Paul is here, Nick is here, and we got a lot of stuff that's going to be going on today, including 9:47 will be Would You Rather. And 9:33, this might be one of those that, it might get a little uncomfortable because you know what? You guys have been talking about DEI all this time. I said, you know what? Let's do that. Let's have a discussion about DEI at 9:33. We'll do that here, but let's get to it. Top stories of the day brought to you by Pendergast Law. Well, the debate over the proposed income tax on millionaires. It began yesterday afternoon, and more than 15 hours later, lawmakers are still arguing on the House floor. I wonder how they stay up. I bet you some drink coffee. I bet some drinks, 5-hour energies. We had one lawmaker recently. He was drinking alcohol. I wonder if he's still on the floor. But supporters say the 9.9% tax would bring in billions for education and public services, while opponents warn it would drive wealthy residents and businesses out of Washington. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest. Luke, are you okay, man? Because you've been covering this for how long?
Forever. I can tell you a lot about the millionaire's tax. I can tell you that. But, who else can are these lawmakers in the House that have been on the floor since 5:30 yesterday afternoon. Why are they going that long?
Yeah.
Well, here's what's going on.
Okay.
So all the debates that are going on, all the voting that's going on the House floor, and they still have some 28 amendments to discuss and vote on from here, and it's already been 15 hours. This is all part of a political chess match that's playing out. So all night and all morning long, the strategy from Republicans has been to propose amendment after amendment after amendment. If they can just get one of those passed, then the bill would have to go back to the Senate for another vote with just 2 days left in the legislative session. Can they get that done? It's a stall tactic, right? So we'll see what happens there. But they've tried several tactics as well to get Democrats to kind of put their money where their mouth is with amendments to spend more on free meals for kids and Medicaid reimbursement, saying, hey, Democrats, you say you want to spend money on that? Okay, then do it. Commit to a huge number and put that number, that percentage in ink if you really mean it. They've also tried to change language in the intent of the bill that might help them later on down the road if there's a legal challenge, and there probably will be if this becomes law. Just moments ago, they tried to add language to the bill to not make filing your taxes a gross misdemeanor, or to make it a gross misdemeanor instead of a felony. But the deal is, Democrats argued, not filing is already a misdemeanor. Republicans were really trying to finesse the penalties around tax evasion. So there's that. And then here's a popular one. Just a short time ago, Republicans brought up the jock tax again. Travis Couture said he doesn't want pro athletes to be double taxed. If they are, they won't come here to Washington.
What really matters to pro sports teams, Mr. Speaker, is ticket sales. And you know who sells tickets? Cal Raleigh sells tickets. Sam Darnold sells tickets. In the Seattle Kraken, Matty Beniers sells tickets.
And here was Democrat April Berg.
Be that our WNBA athletes, our NHL athletes, our NFL athletes, as they participate in other states, if they pay this tax in other states, which 21 states they will not be taxed also in this state.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Can we just stop right there? Is that true or false? If JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, goes to play against the Rams down in L.A., and down there, they get taxed down there. You pay that good old California income tax. I'd argue you get overtaxed down there in California. While he's playing there on Sunday, when he comes back home, does JSN get double taxed here?
No, according to lawmakers in this bill. No, you can't double tax someone like that.
But so then why do people use their platform to try to scare tactic and tell people that they're getting double taxed?
Well, I think the argument there is that if you're making a multi-million-dollar contract, that a lot of athletes will not want to give up that 9.9% of the above, of the threshold on the $1 million and above. They don't want to lose out on that money. But I got to tell you, and I've done the research, I mean, any tax or finance person will tell you there's so many legal loopholes and ways of getting around paying that. One finance person told me it's part of doing business. It's just the cost of doing business. If there's a 9.9, if there's a tax in any state, that's the cost of doing business. So those are the rules. So then you work around the rules and within the rules to try to recoup as much of that 9.9% back. And it's pretty easy to do if you've got a lot of money to invest in the first place.
Are you saying that rich people just don't pull up to H&R Block to get their taxes done?
Yeah, and rich people would tell you that. I mean, just last week there was a self-proclaimed billionaire who was testified in a committee hearing in favor of the millionaire's tax bill because he said, I can make more money than most people can because I have more money to do it. An investment to me does not pose the same risk as someone who's living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. Before you go, one last thing. What do we need to know? What is next now? Obviously, they're still debating. What can we expect coming from today in this whole millionaire tax?
Absolutely. So you remember this bill was dead on the vine last week when Governor Bob Ferguson said he wasn't going to sign it because he didn't think that it used enough of the $3 billion annual revenue from the bill, expected to be starting to show up around 2029 to pay for services. Well, Democrats amended that, and so he's now saying, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to sign it. So what we're seeing is, again, the strategy by Republicans to stall the bill, but also they want to change the bill, of course, where they can, because they know they won't win a final vote in the House. So 28 more amendments to go. It's already been 15 hours, so it looks like it's going to be another it could be another 10, 15 hours. It could be. So if they survive that, all joking aside, then it'll go to a final vote in the House. Assuming there are no amendments that pass, it passes the House, then it goes right to the governor's desk, and he says he will sign it into law.
Thanks, Luke Ducey.
You bet.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Before I get to this next story, I just got to say this behind Luke Ducey's back. He gets on here and he does all this work and he tells you about what's going on and he tells you it's been going for 15 hours and it could go for another 10, 15 hours. And I was just thinking, ain't no way in the world I want to do that work, to sit there and watch them folks just do that. I would literally be just falling asleep. But Luke Ducey, not him. This guy really gets it done. So next time you hear Luke Ducey here on KIRO News Radio, understand he just don't be talking, he be walking too. The average price of a gallon of gas in the U.S. is up 17%. I need a sticker. I need one of those stickers to go with the gas pump. Since the Iran war started, according to AAA, a gallon of regular gas costs an average of $4.69 here in Washington. Now, a major shipping route for oil has effectively been shut down amid the war. CBS News business and technology correspondent Jolene Kent has more.
The reality of the war in Iran is showing up at gas stations nationwide.
Oh, the gas prices going up is very frustrating.
Prices have shot up about 50 cents a gallon in just the last week.
Just watching the gas prices go from like $3.20 all the way up to $3.80 has been really scary.
Drone attacks on refineries in the Middle East and a choke point for ships in the Strait of Hormuz, where a fifth of the world's oil is typically shipped, are affecting supply.
Now, yesterday on the good old Facebook, I set a trap. And I set a trap out there because I finally said yesterday, I said, there's no way in the world I've never paid $5 a gallon for gas ever in my life. And the potential of that happening, that might happen. So here's what I said yesterday. I've never paid over $5 a gallon. And I told y'all last week, I'm going to tell you again. Once I see that thing go to $5 a gallon, I'm going to be talking about it all day. So, G, don't talk about negative news. I'm going to talk about that. I paid $4.60. I paid the $4.50s and all that, but I have never physically paid. Now, I've seen it. I saw it in California, but I never paid it. If you're listening right now, have you ever paid yourself $5 a gallon? Paul, have you ever paid $5 a gallon before? No. I've never done it. Nick, you ever done it?
Close to it. I think there was a few times where gas prices spiked up around here, but never reached 5.
No, 5.
No.
There's some type of psychological thing. And that happened. It happened to me yesterday. It got a little psychological for me when I saw that $5, and I finally paid it. But then I asked, well, why is this happening? And I realized that here in the state of Washington, we talk about the gas tax all the time. And yes, how the Democrats and the carbon tax, I get it. There's a federal tax, gas tax, and a carbon tax, and it gets up there. It can fluctuate, especially here coming up in like June or July. It'll be another 2% on the carbon tax. And so, yes, we do pay more in this state. And guess what? I'm with you. The carbon tax, it's no good. But while both things can be true, while the carbon tax is ridiculous, you want to know what else is ridiculous? This rising cost of everything that we are about to see. Once oil starts to go up, which it was yesterday, was over $100 a barrel, what do you think happens? When oil goes up, gas goes up first. Then diesel. Shout out to all of you guys that get diesel all the time. That goes up. Diesel runs these trucks that deliver everything. Oh. So when we're talking about delivery of everything, you're talking about moving food, packages, and supplies. All the costs rise. When groceries rise, guess what? Household items, flights, trips, shipping prices are due to follow. The national average was about $3.40 right now. That's the average right now. It's up 50 cents in the last week. Hopefully it continues to not increase. President Donald Trump, in a news conference, he talked about how long the fighting will continue in Iran. He also rejected evidence suggesting a U.S. attack had destroyed a girls' school in Iran. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weizhu Zhang has more on that.
He reiterated that the war could end soon.
It's going to be finished pretty quickly.
But just hours earlier, the Pentagon posted on X, "We have only just begun to fight." Trump was asked to clarify the confusing messaging.
Well, I think you could say it both. It's the beginning of building a new country.
Trump offered new details to explain why now was the right time to attack Iran.
Within a week, they were going to attack us 100%. They were ready. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing.
And he spoke about the bombing of an Iranian girls' school that killed at least 170 people, including many children. Over the weekend, without citing evidence, Trump blamed Iran. He was asked about new video, which apparently showed a U.S. Tomahawk was responsible.
I think it's something that I was told is under investigation, but Tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have Tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
I know sometimes when we start going down this road, sometimes, look, I get it, depending on your politics and everything. I hope there comes a day that we can just start looking at these stories and seeing what's happening in the world and in our country without the lens of politics, right? But I know because it's coming from me, it might seem and feel a certain type of way. Like they would say, well, you have TDS. So I thought, you know what, G? How about you shut up? And why don't you hear from other people like Megyn Kelly?
Oil has surged over $100 a barrel amid the fallout from this Iranian war. We're going to tell you what that could mean for you. It's not good. President Trump doesn't seem concerned about it. I'm sure he is watching it, but he thinks, short term, we're going to be able to deal with this, which sounds somewhat reassuring. But, it's tough because gas prices have already gone up and over $100 a barrel is no bueno.
Oh, that was Megyn Kelly that said that. I don't think she has TDS. And then I was thinking, well, again, G, you should fall back and let others speak. Then there's News Nation's Leland Vittert. He was speaking to Seattle's Morning News this morning. Here's what he had to say about maybe the plan going on in Iran. Check this out.
The one thing that we're seeing is the price that this White House is paying for not having sold the war before they started it. Americans didn't understand what we were getting into. And I think, Americans are very understanding. They're extraordinarily patriotic. You got to explain to them what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that was not telegraphed. The president has been very successful in his one-and-done strikes. And I think when people were hearing about an attack on Iran, that's what they thought it was going to be. And now all of a sudden, it's a 10-day war with the possibility of being a lot longer. Oil prices are going up. There's talk about how it's going to kickstart inflation. Everybody remembers that. And everybody's sitting around and going, what? I thought we were all getting ready for Easter. And that lack of planning by the White House, and there was probably some good reasons for it, but the lack of planning is now, again, they're behind the curve, which is a little bit like trying to build a ship once you're out in the ocean.
So when I hear folks that I disagree with, Leland Vittert, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it seems like there seems to be some type of like being on the same page, like really understanding like, yo, this situation, day 11, by the way, it has real consequences. And especially when you're talking about the Middle East. Leland Vittert also talked about how him covering the Middle East, one thing he's learned is how impossible it is to talk about what's going to happen in the future, to predict what's going to happen. So in other words, everything that's going on doesn't just cost missiles and tanks. This has a real cost and consequences every time you get ready to swipe your card. Already before this, there was continuing to be a struggle here in this country. I just want to know at what point and when do all of us collectively say, yo, something's got to give because the prices are going up and the understanding is less clear and that's going down. Coming up here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Would you rather what happened? That happens at 9:47. But I'll take a break to talk about DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm bringing it back up because it's a conversation that happens all the time. And every time I see a news story and it's somebody, a black person in the story, I always see, well, that's a DEI hire. Let's have that conversation next. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed Their electric bill is diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-777-1225.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Your new home is ready now. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new construction communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington, with more coming. Find your new home at drhorton.com. America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. The war with Iran entered its 11th day today. No end in sight as its effects were felt across the region and beyond. Both sides sharpening their rhetoric as they dug in. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth again promised the most intense strikes yet. Some Democratic lawmakers say they want more transparency. Your CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
Democratic Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says he's been speaking with constituents and
Americans don't want this war.
He says this is a war of choice by one man, not the American people who worry about the economy.
The costs of oil and gasoline are going to continue to skyrocket.
Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is thinking about the cost.
I've also seen the first 2 days was about $5 billion just in munitions.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Boeing says it's reworking some 737 MAX jets after discovering scratched wiring in undelivered aircraft. The discovery may slow deliveries this month, though each plane's fix is expected to take only days, according to the Seattle Times. The mountains are about to get their best snow of the season. It's falling this afternoon in the Olympics and Cascades above 1,500 feet. Blizzard warning will kick in now tomorrow at 6 p.m. and run through early Thursday morning. National Weather Service says gusts could hit 45 miles an hour in the mountains. Lowlands will see some of that wind, too. Fire crews in Kent put out a restaurant fire overnight after responding just after 2 a.m. to reports of flames at Central Avenue South location. Puget Sound Fire confirmed that blaze was out by about 3:40 in the morning. And a judge has ordered a mental competency exam for the man accused in a deadly Bellevue hit-and-run outside a YMCA. Court records say Mark Alexander Adams allegedly waited for and killed an 88-year-old woman. His defense says he showed signs of paranoid delusions during yesterday's hearing.
Your Honor, I am His Majesty, the King of Monaco. I am the Supreme Allied Commander of the United States Armed Forces, and I filed a case number 24-23110.
The exam is expected at Western State Hospital before his next hearing. On Wall Street today, the Dow up 258 points right now. The NASDAQ is up 151, and the S&P is up 28 points. KIRO News Radio traffic. Your trip from Federal Way to Bellevue take you about 46 minutes right now. 36 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle. Southbound 5, the off-ramp to Northeast North Gateway. We had a crash partially blocking the ramp there. Also had a crash earlier, Aurora and Dexter in the southbound bus lane. Also been dealing with a crash this morning that had been partially blocking the 405 southbound off-ramp to I-5 northbound in the Tequila area. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO News Radio. Weather forecast, cloudy, rain this afternoon, a high of 46 degrees. Rain and 50 tomorrow, and showers early on Thursday. Steady rain throughout the day, too. A high of 45 degrees. It's 36 right now in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Coming up at 10 o'clock, we will be talking about financial scams that are unfortunately on the rise here in the United States. When's the last time you got a potential phishing deal on your phone or in your email? Well, it's on the rise, so we're going to be talking about that at 10 o'clock. Up next at 9:47, it would be Would You Rather? You know, every single time that I get on social media or I see the news and I see a story, and in this case, sometimes there's a story. Well, last night it was a story where there was a black man that was on the front of the story. And it had to do with his job. And all through it, it had, and I would have posted it, but I don't want to show the people. DEI hire, that's what happens when you have a DEI hire. So I just realized that, you know what, we should have a DEI conversation because it seems like it was such a big deal. That 3-letter word was just wow. So let's talk about it. Because the way we talk about it in this country seems to be very fascinating to me. You hear that phrase, diversity, equity, and inclusion. What do you think? What goes through your mind when you hear DEI, when you hear diversity, equity, and inclusion? Do you have characters that you think automatically that someone has to benefit or someone benefits or you lose because of that? Because some people do react as if that DEI is a bad word. Like DEI is the reason that their flight got delayed. Or DEI is the reason that their fries were cold at McDonald's or Burger King, or whatever fast food establishment. Or DEI is the reason that their fantasy football team lost. Here's what always and seems to catch my attention when DEI comes up. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. Let's talk about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Here's a woman that graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University. She then graduated cum laude from Harvard Law School. She served as an editor of the Harvard Law Review. She practiced law for 20 years. She served 10 years as a federal judge. That resume alone is, it doesn't matter who it is. You hear that resume, you're like, oh my goodness, that's qualifications. But when she was nominated to the Supreme Court, that excellence wasn't celebrated. That's a DEI hire. Now, I will admit one thing before I continue. I don't like the way that President Biden at the time led with that. To me, President Biden led with the color of her skin in that situation and didn't lead with her excellence. And I thought that the way he talked about it did not help Justice Brown in that moment. But it was talked about, it was questioned, and somehow that was termed a DEI hire. Now, hold on, because I want to continue this discussion on DEI. Let's talk about the new Director of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, 2-year community college degree, construction background, former MMA fighter, rancher. By the way, nothing wrong with that. He has no law enforcement experience, no Homeland Security background, but yet he's the lead for the United States Department of Homeland Security. And suddenly, the conversations changed. That's not a DEI hire. That's not a whatever type of hire that is termed the way it was for someone else that got that job. So when he does this and he's put in this situation, or when Ketanji Brown, Justice Ketanji Brown, is in that situation, it seems to be interesting because it's not the same thing. Then there's the Secretary of Defense, or should I say the person that changed it to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, television host, no senior national security leadership experience, yet now responsible for the United States Department of Defense. Matter of fact, we have been talking about, we are now in day 11 of the conflict with Iran right now, day 11. And this is who is leading this right here. That's an $850 billion budget and millions of Americans and service members. Nobody screamed DEI during that time. Then there's Linda McMahon, French degree, ran the WWE, never taught in the classroom, now overseeing the Department of Education. The reason why I had to bring this up, because I just want to just say this. When some people walk into situations that are overqualified, some people call it just a diversity hire. But when someone walks into that same situation, some are even underqualified, they say it's a fresh perspective. It's a good way of looking at things. You see, the issue isn't really about merit, and I see merit gets brought up a lot of times. Merit is just the conversation, because when the playing field finally starts to level out, some folks realize something very uncomfortable. That it wasn't necessarily a race was being won because someone was faster. It's sometimes a race was being won because there was a 50-yard head start. So when we are running these races and doing things, I think we need to equally talk about these topics and not just devalue situations and positions based on the color of someone's skin and call it a DEI hire. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, we're going to be talking about, and we'll tone it down a little bit. We'll have a little fun. We'll play a game called Would You Rather. Do that next. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals. Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. We've got a surefire way for you to feel lucky this St. Patty's Day. Get a saltwater hot spring spa from Olympic Hot Tub. Take advantage of big savings and get 5 years to pay for it, interest-free. But hurry, this deal ends St. Patrick's Day. OlympicHotTub.com.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. The stem cell therapy you did on my knee was a game changer. But Dr. Dan, people ask me all the time if you're seeing the same kind of success treating neck and back pain with stem cell therapy.
Great question, Brock. As you know from your experience, we've had tremendous success treating major joints like hips, knees, and shoulders, but we've also seen excellent results treating neck and lower back pain. In fact, we're the only clinic in the Seattle area offering image-guided stem cell and PRP injection therapy specifically for neck and low back pain.
How cool is that? If joint, neck, or back pain is holding you back, call Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine and find out if stem cell therapy may be right for you. Dr. Dan here is the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's 425-823-4000 or danielnelsonmd.com.
High five! Up top! Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Heck yeah! He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Yes! The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical,
there's no beating CM Heating.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Coming up at 10 o'clock, financial scams are on the rise right now. And you want to know what's making it tough? AI. AI is really making it tough and making it easier for these scammers to get away with fooling us. But right now, let's get to the Would You Rather game. And I got Nick and Paul to play the game with me. And, of course, I have you as well. Let's talk a little bit of football. I love football and everything. So, here's a question. Since the Seahawks are a Super Bowl champion, again, maybe you can relate to this. Would you rather your team win the Super Bowl once, like the Denver Broncos, and be terrible for the next 10 years, or make the playoffs every year but never win the Super Bowl?
Broncos have won more than one Super Bowl. Just pointing
I'm
that
just
out
talking about recently.
Recently, yes.
Yeah.
Man, this is it's really that tough question of the Broncos being the perfect example of they were forgettable up until the last 2 seasons with Bo Nix, basically. I think if you're constantly in the playoffs, you have a shot every year, and I think I want that shot every year instead of the high. I mean, obviously the ultimate high is great, but man, there's so many baseball teams I can think of, the Mariners, the Brewers. There are a bunch of teams that make the playoffs, they'll do it, and then nothing will happen. But constantly being relevant, I think is worthwhile for me.
Nick, what do you got, man?
I'd rather win the whole thing and then just have droughts, just because if you have that reputation of making it but never going all the way, I feel like that's a little more harsh than you can at least say, at least we won one. You know, there are a lot of teams that really close and don't make it.
I got to tell you, Nick, I'm against you on this one, man. I know this sounds crazy, but I would rather go to the playoffs for the next 10 years. Just go to the playoffs every year, like you said, just with the hope, just with the thought, right? It's like going on a date. Like, you just get the hope. The whole drought, like, let's see, what teams in the National Football League, like, every single year? Like, could you imagine being a Jets fan?
Right. A prime example. The Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 25 years.
Dolphins haven't won a Super Bowl since, the 70s?
Yeah, something like that. They used to be the best team. I mean, they used to be considered the best team in football and, like, one of the greatest teams ever.
I'd rather go to the Super I'd rather not win the Super Bowl and do that with the playoffs.
Another good example is the Vikings. They're usually good a lot, but they have never won a Super Bowl. And the Bills, too.
But I tell you, the Vikings don't be teasing you real good.
They always are teasing.
Yes, they are. Yes, they do.
Yes, they are. All right, here we go. Would you rather lose the Super Bowl by 1 point or miss the playoffs entirely?
I guess the Super Bowl, because you have the championship round, you have the run, but I mean, and Gee, I wonder if you have more insight into this. I mean, actually, we got insight into this during the reset this year. You never forget a Super Bowl loss, whether you get blown out, whether you lose, whether it's the Malcolm Butler play. If you make it, I wonder how much that affects someone versus a guy that's like, hey, a Myles Garrett, for example. Like, how would Myles Garrett look at it? Looks at the end of his career versus, some of the members of the Legion of Boom that we talked to.
All right, sometimes you guys know how I get sidetracked, and you said something, and you just made me get sidetracked. Can I ask you? I want to ask you guys a question. If you were here in this town during the first Super Bowl win with the Legion of Boom, and then, of course, this Super Bowl win, I just need to ask this. Nick, which Super Bowl were you the most excited about? 2013 or this past year? No. Be honest.
I would have to say 2013, just because it's been a while since then, before the Seahawks made a Super Bowl. Like, they made one back in 2005, so 9 years later. Plus, during that time of my life, I was younger and I was in high school with my friends. So I think at a younger age, you get more excited for those Super Bowls. This time around, it was like, it was fun, but when you get older, it's not as nostalgic to you.
I have been, and by the way, I'm not saying which one my favorite was, but maybe, Nick, you just help me out with that. Maybe it's just the older you get.
You don't take it as seriously. You still enjoy it, but it's not like life or death to you. It's like, I remember when I was a kid and seeing like my favorite teams lose. Sometimes I would get a little weepy, and you'd like, if a big playoff game, you'd be like, oh man, that was everything. But now it's like there's more to it in your life when you get older.
Would you rather your rival team, like the Niners, win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, or your team be mediocre forever, like 8 and 9 wins every season?
It gets to a point where if they're winning, it stinks. It's whatever, but who cares? I mean, at that point, it's just I'm focused on my squad. It stinks when it's a rival. It makes it a little bit, but once my team gets knocked out of the playoffs, my actual caring about it drops.
Oh, cooked. I'm so done.
Right
now. Wait. Okay, I'm speaking for me. I got to tell you, I would rather the Seahawks be mediocre and the Niners not win.
That's because you love to talk. You love bringing up the Niners fan. You're active on socials. Is that part of it?
Yeah, but first of all, it's a real rivalry.
Oh yeah, of course,
it's fun. Fans and team like the guys. They don't like Niners. It's like you think there's any love lost between the players? No. But yeah, I love looking at a Niners fan right in their eye in her face and just being like, you do know you haven't won a trophy in 30 years? You do know, like this century, the 21st century, you have not won. So, yeah, call me petty, but that feels really good.
That's some classic sports fan loyalty right there.
Yeah,
I like that.
If the Hawks were to stay mediocre and the Niners don't win Super Bowls, it's a more balanced rivalry rather than if the Niners were to win 3 in 5 years, they'd have so much ammunition on the Hawks and they would just be beating us down with the smack talk, and it wouldn't be fun.
So, last thing, and yeah, you know this because of the podcast Reset. I do take every chance I can against the Niners. But in week 18, the Seahawks went there to decide the playoffs. Went down there to beat them for the division championship. So the division champs. Then at home when the Niners came, 41-6.
It was even more of a beatdown.
Absolute beatdown. Like one of the biggest playoff wins in playoff history.
It was over in the first play.
Literally the first play.
And then after that, the Seahawks go and win the Super Bowl in their house? Like, until further notice, Levi's Stadium is Seahawks South.
I have no argument there. I mean, the cherry on top of to do it in their stadium.
In their stadium.
Crazy.
And Angela Poe Russell just texted me and said, yeah, G, that's petty. All right. I apologize.
It's a rivalry.
It's the Niners.
There's nothing petty about it.
Yeah. Hey, coming up next, financial scams are on the rise. We're going to tell you what is making it harder to avoid becoming a victim. Next, Gee Ursula.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust, it should be a must in most of these estates, but it's not.
Be part of the next seminar in Tacoma on March 10th, Bellevue on the 12th, Federal Way on the 14th, and Everett March 17th. Learn more and secure your space at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Mariners fans, the 2026 season is officially on deck. And Cal, Julio, and the defending AL West champs are ready to feed off your energy at T-Mobile Park. Be here for every monster home run.
There it is, number 60. The magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Every 100-mile-per-hour heater.
He throws it and the ball game's over. Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Every clutch moment.
A bases clearing, 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes, the Mariners have the lead.
It's going to be an epic 50th season, and you won't want to miss it. Mariners baseball. Try to answer.
Lock in your spot for the season with a Mariners Reserved membership. Get the best seats at the best prices for 20 games of the whole season. Plus amazing perks like guaranteed postseason access, year-round savings, and more. Memberships start under $500. Find your plan at mariners.com/26.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your new home is ready now. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new construction communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington, with more coming. Find your new home at drhorton.com. America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Steve Kathan. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth calls this the most intense day yet of U.S. attacks on Iran since the war began. CBS's Eleanor Watson.
He said that the U.S. has the will to fight for as long as it takes to achieve the objectives he laid out at the Pentagon last week. We heard again from the Secretary and the Chairman about two of those objectives, some progress updates about destroying Iran's ballistic missile capacity and sinking Iran's Navy, but not so much on the third, which Secretary Hegseth has said is to permanently destroy Iran's nuclear program.
Iran launched counterattacks today and rhetoric with Iran's parliament speaker vowing an eye for an eye. Hegseth was asked about President Trump's characterization that the war could soon be over.
It's not for me to posit whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end. That's his, and he'll continue to communicate that.
Connecticut Democrats' Richard Blumenthal.
The president, almost in a single breath, says it's almost done, and at the same time, it's just begun.
The State Department said today most Americans in the Middle East who had asked for help later declined assistance to leave the region when offered. Now to Canada, where shots were fired before dawn outside the U.S. consulate in Toronto. Deputy Police Chief Frank Barreto says two suspects are being sought.
Officers arrived on scene and immediately found evidence of a firearm discharge, shell casings, as well as damage to the building.
It's a crowded field in the special election in Georgia today to fill the House seat that used to be held by Marjorie Taylor Greene.
This would be a true test of President Donald Trump's endorsement. Clay Fuller receiving that endorsement pretty early on. It was the beginning of February when President Trump threw his weight behind him in this race. Despite it's quite crowded, I believe about 12 Republicans are running for this seat.
And CBS's Torian Small says the top two finishers could be forced to do battle in a runoff election next month. On the Health Watch, CBS's Cammie McCormick on an effort to uncover the mysteries of dementia.
Researchers at the University of California, San Diego found a blood-based biomarker could predict a woman's risk of developing dementia 25 years before symptoms appear. One of the study's authors, Aladdin Shadiab.
The value of blood-based biomarkers is that if we can determine an individual is at higher risk of future dementia, if someone knows that they're at future risk and they currently don't have symptoms, that's really the best time to intervene.
Current blood-based biomarkers aren't recommended for people without symptoms.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 312 points. The S&P and NASDAQ are trading higher. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
16 hours and counting, the Marathon Millionaire Tax debate continues in Olympia. More on that in a moment. First, KIRO News Radio traffic, 405 South at Northeast 8th. Last check, we had a crash in the left toll lane, southbound 5 at North Gateway. We've had a crash partially blocking the ramp there. Your trip from Federal Way to Bellevue right now, 39 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle will take you 32. And if you're heading to Seattle from Linwood, that's a 50-minute drive, Linwood to Bellevue, 47 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. The 15-hour-plus marathon debate over a millionaire's tax in Washington continues. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest.
House lawmakers in Olympia have been debating and voting since 5:30 Monday afternoon as Republicans like Travis Couture introduce amendment after amendment, like not double taxing pro athletes.
What really matters to pro sports teams is ticket sales. Cal Raleigh sells tickets. Sam Darnold sells tickets.
Democrats say there is no double taxing in the bill. Passing just one of the dozens of proposed amendments, though, would stall the bill, forcing it back to the Senate with only 2 days left in the legislative session. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Governor Ferguson says he'll sign the bill as is. A top Washington Senate Democrat introduced a bill that would strip corporations of their legal existence for opposing ballot measures, including the millionaire income tax. Unions would be exempt. Senate Bill 6358 was introduced Monday by Senate Majority Caucus Chair Bob Hasagawa. Brian Haywood, founder of Let's Go Washington, tells Seattle's Morning News what he thinks the bill's really about.
My instinct is that this is sort of a shakedown bill of the Washington Roundtable, all the big guys.
Senate Majority Leader Jamie Peterson says the bill is dead this session. Anacortes police investigating the deaths of 2 people found this morning. Officers were called to a home near K Avenue and 14th Street just before 6:30 for gunshots. They found bodies of a man and a woman there, according to Anacortes Police Officer Brent Lindquist.
Officers confirmed that 2 people are deceased at the scene. The scene is still being processed, and this is an ongoing investigation.
Lindquist says there is no ongoing threat to the community. 5 Seattle Starbucks stores, including in the University District and First Hill, will close early next month as part of a company overhaul. Union leaders have criticized the move, while Starbucks says it is done to optimize its local footprint. KIRO News Radio weather calling for clouds and rain. A high of 46 this afternoon. Rain likely tomorrow, a little bit warmer, 50 degrees. Showers early on Thursday, steady rain later in the day with a high of 45. And a reminder starting tomorrow evening. Got a blizzard warning in effect for the mountains until Thursday morning. Right now, 37 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay. KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. I'm so glad that you are with us. Thank you. If you're with us in the 9 o'clock hour, hey, I got to tell you, it was a little rough. And I had to do it because some things, it's like when your kids come home and they got some homework and, you want to go have fun too. Like, hey, let's just get this homework out of the way and then we can have some fun the rest of the way. So, anyways, if you're still here, thank you for being here. We got a packed hour. We got to get to. We're gonna get here in a second. We're gonna show you guys something. Have you guys heard about what's going on with Seattle Mariners teammates? Yeah, we need your help on this. We want to see what you think about it. But coming up at 11 o'clock in studio with me today, Angela Rye will join the show right here in studio. I'm looking forward to that conversation. We got to talk about what has happened here locally in Seattle because there is a Seattle civil rights director that, we're going to talk about that is going on. He was with the old administration with the Seattle mayor, and he might not be with this new administration. So we got to talk about that at 11 o'clock. But right now, let's get to it.
What's new at 10?
Okay. We need your help now. Here's what happened. I don't know if you heard. Randy Rosarina and Cal Raleigh, who are Seattle Mariners teammates during the MLB season, of course, but they sure didn't look like it during the World Baseball Classic matchup between Mexico and USA last night, right? So Randy Rosarina comes up to the plate in the first inning of the game at Houston Daikon Park. He extended his hand as a greeting to Cal. Cal was the catcher at the time, who was, of course, catching for the American League team, for the American team. Cal Raleigh did not shake his hand. And Rosarina was then seen leaning in to say something to Cal. Now, we're left to wonder if there is a little beef between the two M's All-Stars stemming from international competition. I'm going to weigh in on this, but while I do, Paul, there is actual sound of Randy Rosarina actually addressing this topic after the game. So that's kind of new, and that's where we're going to really talk about. So if you can just get, you don't even have to play the sound. If you can just get me the English transcript of it so I can read it and get you guys' response. Now, before he made that response, this is what I said. Well, first, let me ask you, do you agree or disagree that if Cal Raleigh is the catcher, Randy Rosarina comes up to the plate for the other team during the World Baseball Classic, Randy Rosarina extends his hand to shake Cal's, do you think that Cal Raleigh should have shaken his hand? Do you think he should have dapped him up, showed him any kind of love during that time because they are teammates for the Mariners? Love your opinion on that, and I'll tell you mine. Nope. Nah. You don't look, it's competition. Everybody's different when it comes to competing. Some of you want to talk before the game? Cool. You want to talk after the game? Cool. But during the competition, aren't you trying to win? No, I am perfectly fine and okay with Cal Raleigh doing that. I stand on Cal Raleigh doing that. I want you to be a dog and stay a dog. And I think there's something interesting. We talk about the greatest competitors of our time, and we talk about the Michael Jordans, we talk about Kobe Bryant, but what made them so good? The competitive part. And speaking of Kobe Bryant, if you guys remember this story, remember Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol, they were teammates. But when it came to the Olympics, they played against each other. So here is another situation, and you'll hear the story being talked about when it came to Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. Was Kobe wrong for this? Your thoughts?
Kobe said he going to set the tone to start the game. And he said, I'm running through Pau's chest. We was like, what? Man, you tripping. Like, that's your teammate. You tripping. You ain't about to do that. He said, first play of the game, I know what they're going to run. And he knew Pau's going to be the last screen. And he said, I'm running through that motherfucker. I swear, the first play of the game. We was like, holy sh**.
He just went right to the middle of my chest, tried to get right through me to send a message. To not just to me, but to his teammates. Say, hey, this might be my brother. I play with him, we're close, but I don't care about anything else but winning.
I'm right there in front of him. It's like, wow, yo.
And he was just like, no, he ain't my teammate right now. F***ing get up. I'm like, I love this energy. This is what we need, right?
We was like, he did that to his teammate. Oh, my God. We was like, anyway, we losing this game. We about to beat the out of this man.
That was Kobe Bryant. Now, I got to tell you guys something. Maybe I'm a little, like, again, I think this is subjective. Everybody's different. But I'll be transparent with you. I don't like after a game, I don't know if you're a football fan or whatever the case might be. Let's just take football. And if the Seahawks lose on a Sunday, my entire Sunday's shot for the rest of the day. Now, maybe I take sports too serious. I'll agree. You want to know what I really can't stand? It bothers me if the Seahawks lose and I see them exchanging jerseys after the game and signing and laughing, and I ain't laughing. I'm hurt. So for me to see Cal not shake the hand of Randy Rosarina during competition, and people are like, oh, he should have said, no, he shouldn't have. Because some people compete that way. Some people are petty. Some people just have a way of being. It just keeps them just that edge, right? So speaking to a Mexican journalist, Luis Gilbert, in Spanish, here's what Randy Rosarina said about Cal Raleigh. He said it all in Spanish, but here thank you, Paul, for getting this transcript for me. He says, Cal, he has to thank God that he has nice parents, well-educated. And he said he recently hugged them during a friendly greeting at the team hotel just 2 days prior. Rosarina then used profane Cuban and Mexican slang to insult Cal Raleigh, saying the All-Star should just F off and go to H-E-L-L. Rosarina then pivoted to English, saying Raleigh should shove this good to see you in his rear. Rosarina was born in Cuba, but defected to Mexico to pursue an MLB career. Now, I'm asking you all now, what do you think? 888-973-5476 is the Muck Street Casino Resort text line. What do you think?
I think that I'm sure there's competitive fire underneath this. I don't know if I wouldn't qualify it as legitimate beef. We see in football, we see in training camp, players fight, players, it escalates even to that level. But I think that this is, while there might be something a little under the surface, I think you nailed it. This is competition. And especially when you consider Mexico has beaten Team USA in the World Baseball Classic before. Yeah. Team USA is supposed to be the dream team, quote unquote, of this classic. This is real competition. What's been great about the World Baseball Classic is it isn't spring training. This is real. They are playing real October-level baseball right now. If you're talking about the atmosphere and the level of play that these guys want to play. Yeah. And there's also, I think, one thing that I do think is some people might brush it off. The pine tar stuff, there's a conversation about him not shaking the hand to avoid the pine. That's a real factor in that as well, because that impacts Cal. Paul Skeens was on the mound in this game. That could impact Paul Skeens. So while I think that there might be, there's going to be a conversation in the locker room, no doubt about it, when these two are back in at camp. But am I overly worried? Do I think that this is necessarily a bad omen? No, especially because this could just be some banter. This could just be two highly competitive athletes butting heads a little bit. Let some time simmer and it'll be all right.
Paul, I'm not going to lie. And Nick, I'm going to get to you right in a second and get your opinion on this. I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I thought, man, this is no big deal. Mm-hmm. And then someone hit me up that plays baseball and told me that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And to which I was like, no. Randy Rosarina, he starts off by saying, hey, thank God he has nice parents, well-educated. Got to see them at the hotel. They told me they were proud of me. He starts off with the parents. Mm-hmm. Very specific. Only he knows that story. And then goes right into that part about Cal. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Randy, come on, dog. I think Randy's wrong in this situation. Mm-hmm. Randy, you can't get on there and just, like, maybe you didn't like it, and maybe I don't know, we don't know what they said. Right. Maybe Cal did say something about pine tar. We don't know what they said. But whatever was said, whatever was done, that situation got made way worse, and people like me are talking about it. Mm-hmm. Nick, what you think, man?
I'm going to go on the other side because I truly think this is kind of Bush League for how this all went down. If you want to use pine tar as an excuse, I believe that's lame because Kyle Raleigh could have simply just said, hey, man, I don't want to get pine tar in my hand. Here's a fist bump. Here's, to at least acknowledge him. Yeah. And with your logic saying, oh, you don't want to shake hands with somebody that you're competing with during the game. Well, with that kind of mindset, you can't be okay with Richard Sherman trying to shake hands with Michael Crabtree after the NFC Championship because that's the same kind of thing. When Michael Crabtree pushed him aside, are you going to take Richard Sherman's side for trying to shake the hands during the competition? I feel like that's a double standard at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And to your point, I always thought Kobe Bryant was a jerk.
Yeah, so right. I don't have any problem with somebody trying to be a gentleman and shake hands during competition because at the end of the day, it's a game and it's sports and you're going to try and treat people like human beings no matter what. So I feel like with what Cal did, it's a little Bush League to me. I feel like you got to at least acknowledge what Randy's trying to do and be a good guy.
Especially when you're talking about now the conversation, if it just is the fist bump. oh, look at this feel-good moment at the World Baseball Classic between two teammates, right? I mean,
Instead, it turned into something bigger than it really should have been, rather than just, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, now 2 weeks going into the season, the Mariners got to talk about clubhouse issues.
Exactly.
Like this story won't go away until past opening day.
It's
right?
a new distraction for the team, and when there's more distractions for a squad that's trying to win, it doesn't help at all.
But it'll be a situation of how they respond.
And both of you guys nailed it. You nailed it right there, Nick, and you nailed it right there. This is now going to be a conversation until opening day.
Until the season ends.
Yes.
What happens if they both of those if Cal or Randy goes on a or if we're hearing about tempers flaring in the clubhouse?
Yes.
It's all going to go back to this moment.
And I'm not going to sit here and say Randy shouldn't have put his hand out and acknowledged Cal. I don't think that's an out-of-pocket thing to do. What was that? Was he trying to be rude? No, he was trying to be nice to the guy.
Yeah, he's trying to be nice.
Randy has a history of doing that as well. I was reading. I can't remember if this was this World Baseball Classic. I believe is the one prior when Will Smith was catching. Also tried to shake
I highly doubt he was putting his hand out to try and shake Cal's hand to start any beef. I think he was trying to be a good guy.
Because I believe Randy and Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, I believe were teammates when Randy was
and everyone's
Dodger.
trying to say, the pine tar. You don't have to shake his hand. Put your hand out for a fist bump, for crying out loud.
Hey, we got a conversation. Okay, moving on. There's a new survey from Bankrate that says that more Americans say they experience some form of financial fraud over the last year. If you're listening right now, have you or a loved one experienced any type of financial fraud or attempt? Bankrate analyst Sarah Foster spoke with Como News and said, quote, financial scams and fraud is on the rise. It's becoming more and more ubiquitous. More Americans this year actually say those attempts were unsuccessful. So the hope is that as more awareness gets spread about the rise in scams, that they'll fall for them less. So here's some of the data from Bankrate. 40% of Americans experience some type of financial fraud or scam over the last 12 months, up 34%. Just over 10% of people say they lost money. 52% of Americans are expected to be targeted by a scam, a 37% increase from last year. They actually just got my wife just a few days ago. A quick little credit card deal. Before she looked at it, and boop, she was shopping at Nike, buying some stuff right there. Mm-hmm. I know on my phone this morning there was an attempt to get me to click the link. And just so we're clear, because they talked about AI and how AI is helping make it harder for we as people to not become victims. And so what I'm saying is, and the reason why it is so important to talk about this is this. These scams are becoming way more sophisticated.
Yep.
Way. I mean, very. And maybe, text us. Let us know if there's a story that you either clicked that link or you almost clicked the link. The goal is to get you to click the link.
Yeah. In the 9 o'clock hour, I got 2 text messages telling me that I had overdue fees on a motor vehicle in Colorado. I haven't lived in Colorado in a long, long time, but they're getting more and more precise. I mean, because they're looking at my area code on my phone number, so they're able to pinpoint it into, hey, let's put this right in your backyard. Actually, I had one that wasn't a scam, but I had just, it's okay to double check my credit card. They called me and wanted to confirm a purchase. I didn't like the way they were sounding because they called me and I was like, hung up, and then I called them. But even then, I was a couple of buttons away from putting in the last 4 of my social over the phone to God knows who.
I had one that called. It was a missed call, and then it was a message. The message came in with my full name and everything, telling me that they're getting ready to drop off a certified letter to me here at my job. Like, told me that. And basically, there was an 800 number on there, and then there was a link on there. And I'm telling you right now, and this is the truth. This one almost got me. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why it did not get me is because I took and copied it and put it into ChatGPT to see if this was and it showed me that it is a popular scam. of them telling you that they have documents they're going to be dropping off at your location.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And they can do it so quickly. They can do it so fast with like you're saying, AI is just going to make them able to access more information, spread the web even further, and be a problem from wherever they are.
Yep.
The biggest crux that's making these spams harder to get by is they give you such a high sense of urgency and fear. Like, if you don't pay this, you're going to suffer the consequences. So we need it now, They make you act quick.
I'm glad you said that with the urgency. And you said the whole, I need it now.
Like with the final notice,
No, listen. And I actually, the reason why we brought this up, because I actually heard this bank rate analyst, Sarah Foster, she was on with America's First News with Gordon Deal. And I actually heard the interview. And the one thing that she said, the first thing that everyone needs to do is slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. Nick, such a great point.
Because they want you to speed up.
There's such a great point about the urgency. We all want to get it done. She's like, slow down. They prey on your urgency to get it handled. Slow down, take a breath. Maybe clicking that link is not a good idea. Double, triple, quadruple check. Hey, coming up at 11 o'clock, Angela Rye will join me here in studio. Can't wait for that discussion. But up next, Uber. What are your thoughts about Uber having a women-only option here in the United States? Well, Sophia is going to join us next to talk about it. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. What is something someone can do right now to protect themselves from being on the wrong side of the IRS?
It's really pretty simple, and that is do it right. File on time and pay on time. Yet things do get in the way, like we know. And if you have situations where you're feeling a little concerned about what's in your tax return, get some professional help. And there is a group or a class of people that just think they can put anything they want in their tax return, and they think they are being smarter than the government. It's kind of like the person, the narcissist that thinks they're smarter than everybody else and they're going to get away with it. They will maybe for a while, but the time will come. There will be a day of reckoning.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at the spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of my balanced strategy. Gives me peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
You know the one question that guys hate to have asked of them by their wives, Nick?
I can take a good guess.
I know you know 100 of them. This is the worst one. Do these jeans make my butt look big?
Whoa.
Can't answer that one, right? What I've noticed is whenever you ask me questions like that, I just simply say, oh, I don't know. What do the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic say?
Well, the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic would tell me that my butt looks
looks great in those jeans now that my hormones are balanced.
What'd they do? Did they give you something to bring your weight down?
No, just a result of having my hormones balanced caused me to lose weight. Who would have known? I had no idea that would be a result of it.
So that's good. So the answer is you look great. You're beautiful.
I feel great. I look great.
Yeah.
And I know it.
I've also noticed that your testosterone makes you a little feistier than you normally are as my beautiful Greek wife.
I might be small, but I have a loud bark.
Yes, you do. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Progressive Insurance knows pets, and one of the biggest differences between people and pets is that we don't eat things off the floor. But dogs definitely will, and it makes them so happy, no matter what it looks like, smells like, or what state of decomposition it's in. We all want to go through life that carefree, and that's also why you should get Progressive Pet Insurance, because they eat things off the floor. So protect your pet from all the questionable life decisions they make. You know where they drink from when you're gone, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Jake Skorheim. March is the start of spring, as we all know, and my outdoor to-do list is already growing. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing has my back and yours when it comes to checking off those honey-do list jobs. And with Valentine's huge March promotion, they're not only going to take care of you this year, they have you covered for next year, too. This month only, you can get a free year of roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof. Then you can enjoy seasonal checkups and professional care to keep your new roof looking its best. Plus, they have flexible financing with payments as low as $159 a month. And the Valentine experience, as we all know, seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. So it's no surprise that Valentine Roofing was voted 2025 Gold Best Roofing Company in the Seattle Times Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards. To take advantage of Valentine's free year of roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof, call 206 Roofing. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. Airlines are worried about the conflict with Iran continuing. More flights are being canceled. We get the latest from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
American Airlines has suspended operations to and from Doha through May 7th. It's also delayed the restart of its service to Tel Aviv. British Airways says it's canceling all flights to and from Abu Dhabi until later this year. It cites airspace instability. It's also canceled flights to Israel, Jordan, and Doha until later this week, but warns the situation is under constant review.
Boeing is fixing scratched wiring on some 737 MAX jets after the flaw was found during quality checks. The rework could delay deliveries this month, but won't change Boeing's yearly targets, according to the Seattle Times. It's going to be a rough few days in the mountains. National Weather Service calling this the best snow event of the season for the Cascades and the Olympics. But blizzard conditions have been pushed back a day to tomorrow night. So we're expecting wind gusts about 45 miles an hour. Visibility will be low. Blizzard warning, by the way, runs through from 6 tomorrow night through 5 o'clock Thursday morning. Here in the lowlands, no snow for us, just drizzle and gusty winds in the about 40 miles an hour or so. Pierce County deputies say 2 men smashed into a Graham gaming shop early Saturday and stole hundreds of Pokemon card booster packs. KIRO 7's Dee Dee Sun reports.
At the Gamer's Den around 6 a.m. Saturday morning, 2 suspects, they go straight to the back of the store and they fill a bin with Pokemon cards. We're talking hundreds of packs.
If you have any information, you're asked to call the sheriff's office. On Wall Street today, the Dow up 419 points, the Nasdaq's up 190, and the S&P is up almost 43. KIRO News Radio traffic is, well, we got some delays. Linwood to Seattle, about 40 minutes right now. Normally take you about 32. Linwood to Bellevue, 35-minute drive. Bothell to Bellevue take you 25 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, not too bad. Slightly delayed at 29 minutes. And Federal Way to Bellevue, right now. It'll take you about 38 minutes. That's about a 10-minute delay. This traffic report brought to you by Closets by Design. Custom storage solutions for closets, garages, home offices, and more. Go to Closets by Design to see current specials or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to learn more. And your weather forecast calling for rain this afternoon and on through tomorrow, too. We should get to the mid-40s today and right around 50 or so tomorrow. Right now, it is 38 degrees in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to you. Coming up at 11 o'clock, Angela Rye will join us here in studio. We will be talking about a report from Publicola that talks about the Seattle Office for Civil Rights. We'll talk about that office and what happened with their director. She joins us at 11 to discuss. Up next will be scenarios. But right now, women nationwide can now request a woman driver when they summon an Uber. The Wall Street Journal's, was it Wall Street Journal? Yeah, Jeff Gilbert explains this right now.
This is an expansion of a pilot program that Uber says has been requested by women. Uber says it's doing this to give women more control, comfort, and choice. Rival Lyft has a similar program. Both services are also facing lawsuits that claim the policy is discriminatory toward men.
So will this make women more comfortable using rideshare? Will this make you more comfortable having maybe your significant other or your loved one take the rideshare? Our favorite fill-in producer, Sophia, joins us in studio to discuss. Sophia.
Hi.
Okay, so before you even give me your opinion on this and talk about this, I absolutely love this idea and concept for a woman to be able to request a woman driver. Am I wrong by this? What's your thoughts?
No, I think it's a great concept. I just don't know how it's going to work because I personally have very rarely ever even gotten a female Uber driver anytime I've ordered an Uber. So I think somewhere it was saying that there's only like 1 in 5 Uber drivers are women. So I'm wondering, it's a really great program, but I'm wondering like how it will work.
You know what? I just thought about something. That is such a good point. I just realized something. When you said that, here in Washington, I never have a woman Uber driver or Lyft driver. But out of town, all the time, especially in the South, when I'm down south, I have women drivers all the time, but never here. I just realized that.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. So do you think that if this were to go through, that more women would start driving if they knew that they would only have to drive for women?
I mean, I think that could be a factor of it. It could be kind of like the same thing, like if like women-only gyms, like if you feel safer in an environment, you might be more inclined to do it. But then that almost makes it feel like it's a whole other platform of women-only drivers and then women seeking out the women-only drivers. Like if that becomes more of a thing, maybe. But as Uber stands right now, I think people are like, well, I'm trying to get home in the quickest way possible. Or the driver might be like, I just want to pick up a ride.
Right. Well, I'm asking you now. You said that you very rarely have a woman Uber driver. How do you feel? Do you have rules around? Do you not take an Uber at night? How about that?
No, I do take Ubers at night. Very rarely do I take an Uber at night by myself, but I do take Ubers at night coming home.
Okay.
You know, if you're
but not by yourself.
Very rarely by myself. Yeah, never at night by myself. I've taken it during the day by myself, and I've always felt safe for the most part every time I've ever had an Uber driver. But you know, you still have to be very careful and aware.
Okay, but what's your thoughts? You brought up gyms, so I got to go back to that. What is your thoughts on women-only gyms?
Yeah, I mean, when we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, I think the concept of it is also great. I think any environment where women can feel safer, I think is a great space. I just think with anything, when anything becomes separated, there will always be some sort of controversy or some sort of issue.
But why is it a controversy? Why would me being a man, why would I feel like I'm being discriminated against? Because there is maybe because I'm talking before I ask this question. Maybe because I do believe the whole which one would you rather face in in the woods or whatever, the man or the bear.
Yeah.
I actually do believe that you're better off with the bear. I believe that in my heart. Seriously, I do. But, Sophia, I'm trying to understand why is there always a point of contention when it comes to a woman-only situation?
I think it's because it can feel isolating, like, oh, you have to have your own space. Like, we should have our own space, too, which is really not the crux of it. I think more than anything, it's about creating an environment where more women feel safe. And it's not that men should not also have spaces where they can feel welcome and safe. It just, I think the larger issue becomes like, oh, well, if there's a women's only space, we should have a men's only space as well. And I don't think that's what it needs to be about.
There's plenty of men's only spaces you can go to.
Well, and the thing is, sometimes spaces feel like men's only spaces because a lot of the times women don't feel safe or there just isn't enough to support that. But I think Uber is a tricky one because I think in theory it would be nice to feel safer, like with women and women-only drivers. Because I think it would be better for the drivers more so than anything. Because I worry for women drivers all the time.
No question. And I actually think, like I said a little bit earlier, I think we'd have more women drivers if that was a program that got rolled out.
Yeah, and being in the car is such a, you're mentioning these other spaces. A lot easier to leave the gym, leave the bar. A car going 65 on the highway and you still got 4 miles to go and you're with someone that's making you incredibly uncomfortable, and the person driving in that situation has all the power, all the control. I can see why that would be another situation where you would feel uncomfortable. And when I think I'm just, when you don't have the control of where you can go, that's a big thing. And that's why I think this is important for people to have a ride option that gets them to where they want to go safely, because it might not just be, hey, maybe they don't feel safe on public transit either. Maybe they don't feel safe in these other they can't ride a bike or something like, take some of these other options. The best option for them to get somewhere from point A to point B safely might just be rideshare.
Yeah, and this might be kind of a wild thing to say, but I'd seen this conversation before where someone broke it down and they were like, the safest way to get home in a lot of ways for a woman after a night out might be to get behind the wheel drunk, because statistically, if you look at things that happen when they get into a ride share versus when they get into public transportation, like they're almost safer taking that risk for themselves in a certain situation. So anything to keep them from feeling like, hey, I might have to put myself at risk because all these other situations make me feel dangerous. I mean, again, I feel really grateful. I've never been in a situation in a rideshare where I felt uncomfortable. Yeah. But there are things you always keep in the back of your mind. I have a lot of friends that they have a very I never put my address into Uber or Lyft. They're like, I will always set the destination to be like maybe the house next a couple doors down or on the corner.
Really?
Because they're like, just on the off chance that this driver gives me a little bit of an odd vibe and I don't want them, they delete the address in the app, but people, once they drop you off at home, they can note, or making a comment like, this is my friend's house, or you make some sort of side comment to make it seem like the place that they're dropping you off isn't your house.
Wow. You know what? I was today years old. I've never heard anybody say they don't put in their real address. And now when you just said that, that makes way too much sense. Yeah. Not to. Jeez. Thanks, Sophia.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for inviting me up.
I got to say, me, I haven't had a sweeping statement today, so here comes my sweeping statement. If you're a man that are against a program like a woman-only Uber, then chances are you're a miserable man. There's my sweeping statement for the day. Thanks, Sophia. Hey, coming up at 11 o'clock, Angela Rye is going to join the show. I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a great conversation right here in studio. Up next, Scenarios. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals. Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what? End up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust, it should be a must in most of these estates, but it's not.
Be part of the next seminar in Tacoma on March 10th, Bellevue on the 12th, Federal Way on the 14th, and Everett March 17th. Learn more and secure your space at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Do you ever lose your balance or feel dizzy for no apparent reason? Do you hear ringing in your ears or have migraines? These are all signs you could have a problem with your inner ear or vestibular system. To learn more, call the Vestibular Disorders Helpline at 800-837-8428. That's 800-837-8428. Sponsored by the Vestibular Disorders Association.
Great decisions start with knowing your options. Lake Washington Windows and Doors are built to perform. Their windows are 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards, cut noise up to 50%, and are designed with low-maintenance clean glass technology. While most window frames are hollow, theirs feature Comfort Core insulation for superior energy efficiency. Find your pot of gold with up to 20% in savings and 12-month financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. A name you can trust.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show coming up at 11 o'clock. Angela Rye will join us right here in studio. Looking forward to that. But right now, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I'm 24 years old, and I believe in the soft life. Soft life. Let's see. I watched my mom struggle my whole life, working nonstop, paying all the bills, doing everything. And I promised myself that would not be my story. Now my boyfriend and I are talking about moving in together, and he says we should split the rent 50-50. But I feel like if a man really values you, he should want to provide more and make life easier for you. He says relationships are partnerships, and we should build together. So now we're arguing about it. Am I wrong for expecting that, or is he just not the guy for me? And when they say expecting that, that means she does not want to do partnership 50-50 financially. She wants the, I guess they're calling it the soft life. 888-973-5476 is the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Paul, you have to bat first.
I'm a very big believer on it is a partnership. It takes a buy-in from both sides. Well, if you're not interested in contributing financially to the rent, what are you contributing to our life financially? And that can take a lot of forms. I couldn't live here if my wife and I didn't split our costs. It would be impossible for us to afford the life that we have right now if it was just on me. I take some the lead on some other stuff, but we've never had my wife has never expected that. We have very much been as close to 50-50 partnership as we can, and which I think is at least so far in my very young marriage, trying to be level on that end, and picking up the pieces when we need to, helping out when we need to is fine. But that expectation, I think you're setting yourself up for a one-sided relationship.
Well, let me just say this first. You want a soft life, this isn't the guy for you.
Right.
Okay?
Because someone can provide that.
Because there are some people that can provide that. And I want to be crystal clear on something. If you have a preference and you feel like, hey, I want someone to take care of me, or I want someone that financially I don't have to do 50-50, I don't think you're wrong for that. I think that is a personal preference for you. This is not the guy for you. Now, as far as what you and who you're looking for, whoever that guy is, understand there's very few of them in the United States, right? So if you do find that guy, also understand this, there's going to be a lot of people that's fighting for him too.
And a lot of sacrifices you have to make as well. You could live that comfortable life. That doesn't mean you might have the control, or you know what I mean?
Exactly. So does that make sense? Because
I think you nailed it.
I think if you want that and you live that life, who am I to judge? Because it's not easy. Nothing is easy. You might find the guy, oh my goodness, he takes care of me. He takes financially. I don't have to work. That comes with a stress for you too. It comes with a stress for him at some point, like, man, I do everything. And it comes from a stress from you, like, man, I don't have a control over anything. I have to ask for this. So there's a cost when it comes to this. So that's one. Two, hey, if you're somebody that can take care of everything on one income, oh man. Bless you. Bless you. It is just so hard. Now, wait, before I get to Nick, I just want to just say this one thing. Make sure your criteria isn't like, oh, he's got to be 6'3", he's got to have chiseled abs, he's got to... Right. Now you're talking about 1%. and only about 18% of the United States financially makes six figures or more in the United States. So just so we're clear, I know six figures gets thrown out there a lot. Not many people do that. But again, before I move on, as someone who has spent, I've never been rich. I'm not rich. But I've spent a lot of time with rich men. Is that fair? Okay. And a lot of times, a lot of these men are sought after.
Yeah.
Right? So the same thing that you love, you're like, oh my goodness, that guy can financially take care of me. There are other people in the United States that are like, oh my goodness, that guy right there. So there's 10,000 people, and of the 10,000, that one guy right there makes more money than everybody in that just 10,000. You think you're the only one that wants him?
Right, exactly.
You're not alone, Susie. Nick, what do you got,
It's going to
man?
be slim pickings for her, and I think that's very unattractive if you have that mindset. But to each their own with relationship dynamics, and some ladies believe that the man is supposed to pay and take care of everything, which isn't wrong or right, just a preference and style. But to me, in today's world where opportunity can be found everywhere for both men and women, that kind of life seems to be fading, I think, for the ladies. And guys aren't as willing to be doing that for someone else as much these days because they might be feeling used or taken advantage of. So, go ahead and find that dude who will handle it all to get that dream of smooth sailing you want to take off on.
Easy like Sunday morning.
But be upfront with how you want things, though, if you want to be taken care of, because the lack of transparency, it can seem fake, or if you're playing games, these kind of relationships, from what I've seen, they don't seem to last in the long run from what in these days.
I tried to get out of this segment without giving my advice on this one. And I have to. I'm sorry, because maybe there are some young ladies that listen to the show. And by the way, I don't know what it's like to be a young lady or a lady in general. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But if I was given any type of advice of, hey, Gee, what do you think? Which one? The guy that can financially take care of me, no problem? Or the guy that I have to work together with in a partnership? I'm telling you, the least amount of stress for you will be the guy in the partnership. I'm just telling you.
It just seems kind of lazy and snobbish if you're going to be expecting that kind of attitude.
Hey, people, not people, men. Men with money and power move a different kind of way. Mm-hmm. Hey, Angela Rye will join us right here in studio. Make sure you stick around. Next, Gee Ursula.
I want to be high, so high. I want to be free to know the things I do all right. I want to be free.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
At Bible Law Group, we understand what it means to be local legal representation. From shopping at the Bon Marché, picking up gear at Chubby and Tubby, crying for Joey Cora, now for Cal, grabbing a burger while JP Patches clowns by. We live here and fight for you. That's why Bible Law gives local representation to those facing legal problems too big for prayers, even if you can't pronounce Squim or Puyallup. Our legal team has secured more than $40 million in settlements for our clients. We're ready to fight for you. Find us online at BibleLawGroup.com.
Staples has hot deals on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO Newsradio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The nicotine in e-cigarettes is addictive and can harm brain development. That's why I worry about teens who try e-cigarettes. Many young people use pod-based e-cigarettes like Juul, which have high levels of nicotine. And because teens' brains are still developing, they can quickly become addicted. The tobacco industry uses fruit and candy flavors to attract young people, often turning them into lifelong users. For more, visit healthychildren.org.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. Northwest News.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Listening to me with your earbuds up on the roof? It's not worth it. Jake Skorheim here. Valentine Roofing is giving everyone 1 year of free roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof this month. That's professional care keeping you safely on the ground. And with flexible financing available and payments as low as $159 a month, Valentine sure makes it easy. So stay off your roof. Instead, call 206 Roofing and schedule your free estimate. Then reserve your spot on their spring schedule. Call 206 Roofing today.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Beirut. An explosion rocks the southern suburbs following an Israeli strike, this on the 11th day of the war with Iran. As CBS's Charlie Degeter reports,
the United States, according to the U.S. military, they have been able to suppress the launches, not just what's coming in here, but where they're coming from. Again, now down by 90%, the Pentagon says, but Iran continues to attack and shows no appetite in stopping those attacks.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says today will be the most intense day of strikes on Iran to date. Some Democratic lawmakers are raising questions about the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran and want more transparency.
Democratic Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says he's been speaking with constituents and
Americans don't want this war.
He says this is a war of choice by one man, not the American people who worry about the economy.
The costs of oil and gasoline are going to continue to skyrocket.
Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is thinking about the cost.
I've also seen like the first 2 days was about $5 billion just in munitions.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Someone fired shots at the U.S. consulate in Toronto. No suspects in custody. Toronto Deputy Police Chief Frank Barreto.
There were people inside the building. However, this building is highly secure, highly fortified, and there were no injuries.
Baltimore police say an officer and a suspect have been shot in an active shooter incident. Police say that the officer was taken to the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Unit. No other details. Georgia voters head to the polls for a special election to choose a successor in Congress to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She resigned in January after a falling out with President Trump. CBS's Skylar Henry says there are 17 candidates.
12 Republicans, 3 Democrats, a Libertarian, and an Independent are all in this race. President Trump threw his support behind District Attorney Clay Fuller, who describes himself as a MAGA warrior and also an America First patriot.
The New York Police Department has arrested a person of interest after 2 men were shoved onto subway tracks Sunday.
First, John Rodriguez was pushed onto the tracks at the Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street station on Manhattan's Upper East Side. He says he felt really scared and disoriented. Moments later, 83-year-old Air Force veteran Richard Williams was shoved onto the same tracks. Williams' granddaughter, Samantha Loria, says he's on life support with a brain bleed.
The hardest part is that I'm not going to be able to hug him again.
There have been 9 subway pushing incidents in New York City this year, compared to 19 all of last year. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Stocks are up on Wall Street. The Dow has jumped 374 points. Oil is down 15%. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
The Marathon Millionaires Tax Debate continues in Olympia. The latest on that in just a moment. But first, KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Lori.
Southbound I-5 still slows, approaching 405 in Linwood, backing you up to all the way to 128th in South Everett, causing about an 8-minute slowdown into Seattle. Linwood to Bellevue still seeing about a 3-minute delay, and eastbound 16, an accident heading into Gig Harbor at Burnham, slowing you down as you approach the scene. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. Marathon debate over a proposed millionaire's tax in Washington continues at this hour. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports Republicans are trying to entice Democrats to vote yes on one of their dozens of proposed amendments.
House lawmakers in Olympia have been debating and voting since 5:30 Monday afternoon. Republicans like Gloria Mendoza have been deploying political tactics that a Democrat might deploy, like spending even more money on free lunches and breakfast for children.
In my district, a lot of children may only have one meal a day.
That amendment failed in the end. If the bill passes, Governor Bob Ferguson says he will sign it. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Critics are calling a new bill from a top Washington Senate Democrat a shakedown. The measure would end legal protections for any corporation opposing ballot measures like the income tax while exempting unions. Brian Haywood, founder of Let's Go Washington, spoke with Seattle's Morning News.
It's knowingly, like the income tax itself, it's knowingly unconstitutional.
Senate leaders say the bill will not advance this session. Police here in Washington will no longer be allowed to hide their faces while dealing with the public. State Senate gave final approval yesterday to a bill banning face-concealing masks, including balaclavas, ski masks, and tactical masks. The bill now moves on to the governor's desk. Drivers survived the full closure of 405 in Bothell over the weekend, but another closure's on the way. All lanes of the freeway will be shut down near SR 522 from Friday night until early Monday morning. WashDOT's Lauren Penning says drivers should expect up to hour-long delays.
We do expect this weekend to be a bit different with the full closure all day Saturday as well. So really hoping people prepare for that.
WashDOT's removing the old ramps over the freeway during the closure. A new bridge is being built in their place. Awkward moment between Seattle Mariners teammates Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh during Monday night's USA-Mexico World Baseball Classic game. Arozarena offered Raleigh a handshake at the plate. Raleigh didn't take it, saying something instead. Arozarena later made some pointed, expletive-filled comments in Spanish. This is Mariners manager Dan Wilson.
I know how much these guys love each other, and well, not concerned.
USA won that game, by the way, 5-3. Your weather forecast is calling for occasional rain later today, a high of 46 degrees. Rain likely tomorrow, too, with a high of 50. And tomorrow night, we have that blizzard warning going into effect for the mountains. That'll last through Thursday morning. Right now in Seattle, we are up to 41 degrees. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. So grateful that you can be with us today. Means the world. Nick is here. Good morning to you, Nick.
Good morning.
And we got Paul. Paul, you hold it down for us. Paul, are you with me the rest of the week?
I'm in the rest of the week, G. You and me, buddy.
Okay, just want to make sure. Hey, we're waiting on Angela Rye to get here, and when she does, she'll be right here in studio. We'll be having that conversation in a second. But you know what? Since we'll be talking about that, we're waiting a little bit for Angela to get here. I do want to get to a story that I did miss. And good morning to you, Lori. Good to see you here as well.
Good morning.
Yeah. I missed a story earlier, and it has to do with Starbucks. Right now, Starbucks is closing 5 more stores here in Seattle, and 4 of them are unionized. The Seattle Times reports locations on Harrison Street, University Way, Madison Street, and inside Seattle's Children's Hospital that are all union shops. A 5th store right now comes down to the one that's on Minor Avenue, and that one is not unionized. All 5 will shut down in early April. Starbucks says that closures are part of its regular review of whether stores are meeting customers where they are. But the Baristas Union has filed an unfair labor practice charge. Workers United blasted CEO Brian Niccol, pointing to corporate layoffs in the new office opening in Nashville. The union is demanding transfers or severance for affected workers. You know, when we continue, every time there's a story now, we're talking about Starbucks, or we're talking about just companies here in Seattle in general. Why is it that we are consistently talking about businesses closing down, or in this situation, Starbucks closing down 5 of their stores here? And when you hear this, you're literally talking about a company that was born in Seattle, talking about shutting down locations here. What type of signal does that give to you? Because every single day I keep hearing this, like, what gives? Are we being naive when we hear about Starbucks right now and their stores, or excuse me, their headquarters, part of it, a new one going to be opening up in Nashville? Are we being naive to think that when we hear about more stores closing down and Starbucks says that the closures are a part of its regular review of whether stores are meeting customers where they are? Are we being naive when we hear the Baristas Union talk about how this is unfair and they're saying that this is not what they think it is? It has to do with corporate layoffs. Starbucks saying the closures come down to business performance and customer performance, while these unions argue, is just something. But I think there's a bigger point here. And I think the bigger point is this. When we have major companies start pulling back locations, for me, it usually means something about the environment. Something that I've been talking about the last few weeks. I have been talking about the environment of, I feel like a lot of small businesses are really having a hard time because of Washington is not doing things favorable to small businesses. When it comes to Starbucks, remember when the incumbent mayor, her first day as incumbent mayor, wasn't even officially sworn in yet. She was on the front line, telling everybody, on the picket line, telling everybody that she will not drink Starbucks coffee, and you shouldn't too. Now, I'm not saying that Starbucks is great, but Starbucks was born here. Starbucks employs a lot of people. We're talking about Starbucks. And then now we keep hearing this thing, something has to give. When you start talking about environment, I'm talking about cost, I'm talking about safety, I'm talking about foot traffic. Look, politics, something's not working. And when, this is simple. And again, I'm going to make this very simple. It doesn't matter how you feel about Starbucks, politically or any other side. When your hometown company starts shrinking its footprint in its own backyard, this ain't just about coffee. This is about what is at play going forward. Now, I'll admit, when these stories used to happen all the time, I wouldn't really pay attention to it. But as someone, we talk about this literally every single day, or you listening every single day. We talk about these stories and hear about these stories, and you hear about Starbucks and it's happening. What does this mean for the future? We hear about Amazon and opening up out there in Bellevue. What does this mean for the future? So there was just something about this specific story that just really, like, really? Another 5 stores closing in Seattle? Now, granted, 4 of them being unionized, but this doesn't just happen just all of a sudden. It feels like there is a bigger story at play when it comes to this. And as this happens, man, something's got to give. I told you we're going to be having a guest, and right now we are going to. As she gets ready to come in, I just want to say this. Frederick Douglass once warned that sometimes evil disguises itself as righteousness, and that one of the hardest things to do in the moments like this is figure out where the truth actually lives. Right now, there's a story that has been raising serious questions about the leadership inside of the new administration for the mayor's office here in Seattle. So check this out. There was a report from Publicola that says that the Seattle office for Seattle Rights Office director and the deputy director it says in the story that they were placed on administrative leave while the city investigates complaints from its employees. That's where it seems to get a little bit complicated. So joining me now in studio is Angela Rye, Seattle native and co-host of Native Land Pod, where politics, culture, and community collide. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, G. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for coming in. I want to get right to it, and I want to start with a big clarification because in this report by Publicola, says that the director was placed on administrative leave, but what is the difference in the administrative leave, or if there's some other way that this story can be handled?
Yeah, well, first, just for context, I just want to acknowledge that from my view, to say that the Publicola story is a report is very loaded. I would say that this runs more like a gossip blog.
Okay.
From what I reviewed, it was largely unsourced, full of anonymous allegations from, someone said that Derek Wheeler-Smith left a museum tour early, saying that it wasn't worth his time. From his perspective, he was going to pick up his children and said that when the tour was over. So it's a lot of he said, she said. It's kind of mess. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually really stunned to see the administration, the new administration, not even 90 days in, so mired in nonsense with people who agree with them more than 90% of the time. And I think what's really, really sad about this is this particular gossip blog that this author posted is just one of many stories that sounds exactly the same way. So it'd be one thing if Director Wheeler-Smith was the only person that Katie and Brian and others alleged acted inappropriately at work. Mm-hmm. They have claimed that a number of people, a number of directors who they have terminated, that they didn't need an ordinance to terminate, were mismanaging their offices. Mm-hmm. And so when you go down the list of the people who they have targeted, and again, in the first 90 days, while ICE is disappearing people on the streets of Seattle, you've taken it upon yourself to fight people in Black History Month who should be celebrated. So far, the Department of Transportation, Seattle Parks, Office of Economic Development, Office of Immigration and Refugee Affairs, who, from what I can read from what Hamdi Mohammed said in her statement, was terminated while she was on maternity leave, getting ready to have a child.
Pause right there. That's something. So what is the rule on that? Because I did see that Hamdi Mohammed, who was the director at the time of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, in it she wrote, "I'm writing to share a brief personal and professional update, as well as a reflection of my time serving as director of the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. While I'm currently on medical leave and experiencing the arrival of our second child, a baby girl, any day now, I've also learned that with the transition to a new administration, my role with the city will be coming to an end." And I don't have a legal background, but I do know and have known of folks that have been on maternity and or paternity leave. I thought that you can't get let go or touched during that time again.
Well, and I think that this is what I'm trying to say. So I was running through a list of people. We can do that another time.
Yeah.
But even down to the woman who's run Seattle City Light. rave reviews from all the employees, you continue to target people who not only would strengthen your administration, but make the city better. And so I don't understand why this administration is making so many unforced errors. I would have to say it probably has something to do with the lack of experience, which would all normally translate into incompetence. And that's what we're seeing happen. So when you're talking about Hamdi Mohammed, who was on maternity leave, getting ready to have her child, that is illegal. That is unprecedented. And I think what further exacerbates the issue is, as you said in this gossip blog, the person said that the city confirmed that Derek Wheeler Smith was on administrative leave. He's not on administrative leave. He's on FMLA, just like Hamdi Mohammed was on FMLA, because he's taking care of his sick mother. So the city needs to get it right. It sounds like the city's really confused about what type of leave people are taking, what the law says. I don't know who's advising the mayor and the deputy mayor, but I would say they're ill-advised.
You're listening to the voice of Angela Rye here on the Gee and Ursula Show. If you've noticed, Seattle native, of course, and right now also the co-host of the Native Land Pod. You can hear her right here. Okay, I want to just go back to the part where, these are examples of a situation, right? When you hear about these costs, these could potentially be costly, unforced errors for the city. And from my perspective with this, what should people be listening to right now? Because there's a glaring report about these things going on. There are people that are being let go, but it seems like there could be a possibility that Seattle taxpayers, if this isn't done right because of inexperience, Seattle taxpayers can be on the hook for some of these errors that can be forced or unforced.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what we have to understand is when the city makes a mistake, even if it is a rookie mistake, even if it's because someone has no experience or lacks some type of experience, it will cost the city money if they have to pay out claims from anyone that has a valid issue. And as far as I can see right now, there are a number of these folks, Office of Arts and Culture, Department of Neighborhoods, Seattle City Light, Office of Civil Rights, who were talking about Derek Wheeler Smith and his deputy director, Fahima, Office of Housing. And there are others that feel like they had to leave, including the information technology director.
In that report, in that conversation, it was also said that the deputy director was on administrative leave. Are you saying that both of them were on FMLA?
As far as I know, both of them were on family medical leave. And so if that is the case, I don't know how you switch someone's status to administrative leave because of some trumped up allegations. And speaking of Trump, what is fascinating to me at this point is instead of the city seeking a solution with these people who've been very reasonable, I don't believe have ever been written up in their careers, not just Derek and Fahima, but also Hamdi and others who they've targeted. If you've never even been written up in any of your other jobs, why now are there all of these allegations around mismanagement? The troubling thing to me, the most troubling thing to me that has not been reported or disclosed is on Katie Wilson's financial disclosure form, she's been paid by this gossip blog site, $30,000. So the very same amount that this gossip blogger wrote about a contract that Derek and the office gave to someone else who's very qualified to do this work, she's been paid by this publication. Has that been disclosed at any of these gossip blog posts?
Now, do you believe that, because they say according to this article that there's an investigation that is happening right now. Do you believe that this investigation that the city is conducting, could be fair and actually independent?
Of course, I believe that the city has the capacity to be fair and impartial. The city has the ability to hire people. They can hire outside contractors to also engage in what would be a fair and impartial investigation. And I certainly believe that after they waste city money on conducting the investigation, that Director Wheeler Smith and the deputy director will be exonerated.
Here yesterday, because I read
completely cleared.
I saw this and I thought it was interesting because KIRO 7 had this report up, and I had read it then, and then I went to go back to KIRO 7 to read a report and kind of get refreshed on everything, and it was taken down. Were you aware that the article was taken down by KIRO 7?
I think it's great that it was taken down because you republished a gossip blog. If it's unsourced and someone doesn't have the opportunity to respond to allegations against them, that causes more harm. That is not impartial journalism. It's biased and it's unfair. So when you publish defamatory accusations about someone, you should take it down. You should take it down. I hope that, mynorthwest.com does the same thing.
You've built a national voice in politics, of course, and when you realize the advocacy, wasn't for something that you cared about, that it's your calling. When did you determine that this was your calling? We all know about your father, Mr. Eddie Rye, and everything, and we know what he's done. Shout out to Mama Rye as well.
Yes.
But when did you realize this was your calling?
I don't know that I ever came to a realization. I think in our house, there was never a choice to stand up for the little guy. There was never an option. My dad, I remember giving me $20 and telling me to split it in half with my cousin. So, where I'm from, how I grew up, we share. We do the right thing. We don't have a choice. And so, I'm thankful that for the most part, my experience in this city has been the same way.
When you get tired, what do you do? What do you do?
Try to go to sleep.
No, what is because, look, you're here, you're there, you're doing your podcast, your ceremony, all those things. When you get tired, what does Angela do to just keep upbeat and keep going and keep this
Spend time
energy
with friends,
going?
Best friends. I try to give back. I think we're in an era right now, and that's why it was so important to me to come talk to you about this. Mm-hmm. We don't have a choice but to stand together. This city can't be divided. Our values are too closely aligned to be in nonsense. Like, we really cannot afford to be taking out and targeting good people. Right. That's not the fabric of who we are in this community. I was born in Swedish Hospital. I went to Campy preschool, Martin Luther King for kindergarten, St. Therese 1st through 8th grade, Holy Names 9th through 12th grade, UW, Seattle U for law school. Right. So I don't know anything else. I don't recognize what this city is becoming, and I certainly don't recognize us aligning with an administration that causes us harm. I wasn't raised that way. I just came back, G, to your point, from Reverend Jackson's funeral. Right. And at Reverend Jackson's funeral, you hear about a man who built a rainbow coalition, but after the foundation of our community was strong. That is our obligation to carry on that legacy, and we can't do that with falsities.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take a quick break,
okay,
and we're going to come back because you just said something. You said divided in this city, right? We watched someone who was homegrown here, went to Garfield High School, won a Rose Bowl, went to UW. He born and raised here in this town, overly qualified. Did not get voted back in as mayor again. So you mentioned there's some division here in Seattle, and I would like to ask you about that. So we'll do that. Angela Rye joins us. We'll come back next, and we'll talk about just that. Gee Ursula. This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Yikey Wawa.
What?
My hot water.
Yeah?
Not so hot.
Water heater trouble?
It's not working.
We can fix that.
This week?
How about today?
Apollo Plumbing really is ready right now.
Especially when it comes to water heater replacement.
Think I need a new one?
Is it more than 10 years old?
It is.
Probably so.
Doesn't heat like it used to.
It runs out?
All the time.
That's a warning sign.
Uh-oh.
So are little leaks.
But Apollo can get me a new one?
Installed today by our clean screen trained and trusted plumbers. They're water heater experts.
But I probably got to pay a rush fee.
No extra charge.
You make this too easy.
We'll even haul off the old one.
A new water heater.
Same day. That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
This is going to get my budget in hot water.
Got you covered there too.
How?
Our available payment plans.
I don't have to wait?
Or take cold showers.
You are a lifesaver.
Call us this morning. You'll have hot water today.
That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Research shows a correlation between daylight saving time and increased car accidents. If you're in a car accident, call CAR. Herald Car Law offices will handle the insurance so you can recover. Go to carlaw.com. That's CARR. Car accident? Call CAR.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lenzi. The FBI is teaming up with Federal Way Police to find a murder suspect. Mike Harrington is the FBI special agent in charge of the Seattle field office.
Today we're announcing the addition of Samuel Ramirez Jr. to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list. Ramirez, wanted for those 2023 murders of 2 women here in Federal Way, is now the 538th addition to that list.
Those women were killed at Stars Bar and Grill in May of 2023. The war with Iran entered its 11th day today. No end in sight as its effects were felt across the region and beyond. Both sides sharpened their rhetoric as they dug in. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth again promised the most intensive strikes yet. Some Democratic lawmakers say they want more transparency. Here's CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
Democratic Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says he's been speaking with constituents and
Americans don't want this war.
He says this is a war of choice by one man, not the American people who worry about the economy.
The costs of oil and gasoline are going to continue to skyrocket.
Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is thinking about the cost.
I've also seen the first 2 days was about $5 billion just in munitions.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Boeing says it's reworking some 737 MAX jets after discovering scratched wiring in undelivered aircraft. The discovery may slow deliveries this month, though each plane's fix is expected only to take days, according to the Seattle Times. Mountains are about to get the best snow of the season. Snow is falling in the Olympics and Cascades above 1,500 feet. Blizzard warning kicks in tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and lasts through early Thursday morning. National Weather Service says wind gusts could hit 45 miles an hour in the mountains. On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow up 190 points, the NASDAQ is up 89, and the S&P is up 15. KIRO News Radio traffic, here's Lori.
Traffic is brought to you by the Seattle RV Show coming up in 2 days. Southbound I-5 still a little sluggish approaching 405 in Linwood. Just a 6-minute slowdown, though, as you head into Seattle. Linwood to Bellevue, a speed limit drive. Well, that's if you're heading southbound, but northbound, we're still seeing a little bit of a struggle as you head through Renton. A collision eastbound 16 at Burnham Drive and Gig Harbor has you backed up all the way to the 302 spur. Don't miss the Seattle RV Show March 12th through the 15th at Lumen Field Event Center. Shop over 400 new models for every budget and lifestyle. Get tickets at seattlervshow.com. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
Occasional rain this afternoon, up to about 46 degrees. Rain likely tomorrow, too, with a high of 50. Showers and rain on Thursday, 45 degrees. And we'll stay in on Friday. And you're going to get that blizzard warning in the mountains starting tomorrow night. Right now, 42 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Seattle native, political strategist, national commentator, the be-all, end-all, Angela Rye here is in studio. Thank you so much for being here with us, Angela.
Thank you.
You touched on something because, by the way, we're here because of, let me just set you all back up real quick. There was a report that came from Publicola, and in it, they talked about how the civil rights director was placed on leave, even though he's on FMLA, amid a slew of HR complaints. So they come out with that. And so what Angela and I have been talking about, how some of these, the way this is being talked about and the way this is being handled might potentially cost Seattle taxpayers money. Because once people hear, Angela, that civil rights office and they hear investigation, a lot of folks immediately assume just automatic guilt with this conversation because it's not normal for this to be talked about in this way. What is it that you would like for people that are hearing us right now? What would you like for people to know about what is happening, what has happened, and it seems like there's negligence that's happening in this city?
You know, from what I understand from some of the folks, especially community members who have worked with Director Wheeler Smith, he's focused a large part of his office's goals around anti-Blackness. And one thing that we know, being from here, is that being liberal does not automatically mean that you don't struggle with racism. It doesn't mean that you don't benefit from and utilize, when it is convenient, white supremacist ideology. And I think what is happening here more than anything else is I don't know of a time when this office was run by a black man. During Black History Month, he was called and threatened by the deputy mayor that said, if you have one of two ways that you can go, either you can resign right now based on this gossip blog. I'm refusing to call it a report.
Okay.
Based on this gossip blog that is coming from this woman who runs this platform that, again, has paid Katie Wilson, your mayor, $30,000. Or this is going to get very messy for you. So either you can resign or it's going to get very messy for you. That is not even a veiled threat. It's a threat. It's irresponsible. And it puts the city in a deeply compromising position. The other problem is it would be one thing if they had not demonstrated pattern and practice of doing this with other directors, other offices, other people in leadership. They had this alleged complaint that never made it to HR since December. It went to the transition team. This Protect 17 union did this with other offices as well. The real issue here is they wanted to put in their own people From what I understand, Katie Wilson is very close to the president of this union, and you have to start disclosing conflicts of interest. I'm an attorney. I'm not licensed to practice in Washington State, but I am licensed to practice in 2 other jurisdictions. We have to disclose conflicts. When I worked on Capitol Hill, we have to disclose conflicts. As I sit on boards right now, I have to disclose conflicts.
Right.
You have to do that as an executive, but you may not know that if you don't have any experience.
You mentioned before the break division in Seattle.
Yes.
And it feels like before you came in, I was talking about like something's off in Seattle.
Yes.
There's just things that's not going right. Give us your thoughts. What did you mean by that division in Seattle?
Yeah, I think, let me say this first, because I just was referencing anti-Blackness. We have nice racism here, the kind that is covert. In the South and in other parts of the country, people might call you the N-word to your face. Here in Seattle, they call you the N-word in your paycheck, right? You won't get the same pay rate. There's passive aggression tendencies and how you are interacted with. They will just cut you out of processes and out of deals. And so I think that is what I'm talking about. My dad always references our contracting numbers here, the lack of opportunity for Black businesses here. Those are the things that are typical that we've been fighting against and our parents and forebears fought against. What is happening now is people who are transplants are coming in here trying to play the game, but they don't even understand the culture, right? And I think that is what's causing even greater harm because you didn't even bother to tap in with some of the elders. Where we're from, we tap in with the elders. We do a community. Gee, you have to come, by the way. We do a community dinner every 6 weeks at Communion. Black folks coming together for Sunday dinner. Derek is an instrumental part of that, by the way, and does it because his life is about protecting and advancing civil rights, not for a job or a check. And so we do these every week because we don't want to lose the history from our elders. We want to make sure when transplants come in, they understand what we're about and what we live for, what our mission is, what our purpose is in this city and keeping it together. And it's for that reason I'm so grateful to be back home,
Right.
But I think that we have to ensure that when people come in, particularly when they seek to serve us in public office, that they understand what we're about, that they don't have us misaligned. I'm not saying Seattle's perfect at all, right?
No city is.
But I don't think that you have a right to tarnish the names and images and reputations of the people who have helped to build this city and make it better. That is where I take issue. She has come in and disrupted the lives of people who run departments and have run them well. She has alleged mismanagement of people, of resources. And I take issue with that because those are the things that follow you. If you cannot prove those allegations, they should never come out your mouth. They should not be in writing anywhere. You should be ready to prove them. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people who they've come against will be able to hurdle these allegations.
You're listening to the voice of Angela Rye here on the Gee Ursula Show. And we got a few more minutes. So let's just say that they do let Angela Rye come into the room and help them better understand, like, hey, you didn't tap in with the elders here. You didn't have an understanding of what happened here. I mean, here you are, born and raised here in this city, your dad, all that stuff. What can they do different going forward to get better? Because right now, we talked about the division word here in Seattle.
Well, first, let me just say what I believe is for the people to hold.
Okay.
If you did not vote in November, I blame you, right? If you did not bother to mail in your ballot, drop it off, I blame you. There are a lot of people talking about what's going on, but they didn't even hold their part. You know, election night, I was on the stage with Kamala Harris here at Benaroya Hall, doing her book tour. I hosted her book talk here. And there were so many victories to celebrate, you know, including Erica Evans, who's our first Black city attorney, all of these, Gurmai, whose race wasn't called yet, but I was confident Gurmai Zahalai would win as our county exec. But it was to me, because there aren't that many Black mayors in this country, it was so sad to understand that there are challenges that people have with Bruce Harrell. Like, that's understandable. But to watch him lose to somebody that's not even from here with no experience was very frustrating to me as a Black woman. Why, G? Because we're hearing from the federal administration that we didn't earn it, right? DEI, they changed the name from diversity, equity, inclusion to we didn't earn it. But the people that I'm regularly seeing not earning it are the people that Donald Trump is putting in his cabinet. And they happen to be mostly white male. But in this instance, this is someone who I don't understand what her experience is politically or otherwise to be running this city. Mm-hmm. And so what's going to happen is the city is going to pay for it. The city council president is going to have to be opposing the things that are going to cause harm to its citizens, right? That puts the whole city council and the city council president, who's Joy Hollingsworth, in harm's way because now, again, they're fighting the mayor who they largely agree with on policy.
I've said that all
the time. But not on strategy because you don't know how to strategize. I'm not a local strategist. I'm a national one, right? But what I know is you do not move the ball down the field by burning bridges. You don't move the ball down the field by not creating coalitions that are even uncomfortable. Even if there are some people who were your adversaries before, once you win the election, you figure out the path forward. That's what unity requires. So what I would say right now is you ask what they could do going forward. I would say resign. I would say people should look into recalling this mayor. It would take a little under 72,000 signatures. I don't see a path forward with all the people she's harmed so far. I really don't.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us. I do want to ask this. You're very busy, and not very often do we get a chance to hear you in Seattle media. I just want to ask this. What made you so passionate about this specific topic? What made you get up this morning and come here to talk about this?
There are Black people who have lost their lives for being wrongfully accused. The Alabama governor just pardoned a Black man who was on death row just yesterday, and he was wrongfully accused. And for me, when you wrongfully accuse someone, G, that's the thing that gets me every time. And it's not just one person. There are several. The only time I was suspended in school, it was in the 7th grade, and I was defending a friend. I punched a boy defending a friend who I felt was being wrongfully targeted, and I will always stand up for that. And all Seattle media got to do is call me. I'm here.
Oh, is that easy?
That's it.
Oh, man. Now that we know.
That's it.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Hey, coming up next, more of the Gee and Ursula Show. Your text message feedback, and then we'll have words to live by.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign
line. And so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust, it should be a must in most of these estates, but is not.
Be part of the next seminar in Tacoma on March 10th, Bellevue on the 12th, Federal Way on the 14th, and Everett March 17th. Learn more and secure your space at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn, understands the pressure that comes from owing money to the IRS. Don't let that pressure build. Call None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctor's offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right, tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be 6 figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I gotta tell you, I told Paul this morning, I said, I'm going to do this interview at 11 o'clock, and it might carry over to 11:30. I said, in it, I don't know. Listeners, they might get fired up. I just don't know how to do this show anymore, because this entire text line has lit up with, you guys love that interview. You loved Angela Rye. So I got to have Angela Rye on more often. All right. Thank you, Angela. Really appreciate you for coming on. But right now, we didn't get to agree to disagree, so we're going to get to agree to disagree now, the text edition. So Agree to Disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters, and we're going to do it with the text messages that come through.
All right, here's Kate in Tacoma. Currently, 9 states do not have an income tax, and only 5 of those have a sports team, so athletes are used to an income tax. Let's focus on how this tax is open to lowering the threshold. Do you agree that we're getting distracted by this jock tax here?
Agree. I got to tell you, people do a good job with distractions.
We know that to be true. Gas prices here. 253 says it's the diesel. You should be worried about the diesel because once it gets to $7, it becomes unreasonable for shipping and all heavy highway vehicles. My job shut down a third of its fleet. Are we not talking enough about diesel, G?
I agree with that. And the reason why I agree with that is because I never thought about that. Because selfishly speaking, I don't use diesel. But thank you for bringing that point up because I'm about to start paying attention now. I seriously never pay attention to diesel because selfishly I don't need it. Mm-hmm. But that's a good point.
Yeah, once the cost of getting the goods and the things to you goes up, what happens to that cost of those things? They're going to go up, of course. That's I'm with you there, 253.
What do you got?
Brent in Belfair says, this is a perfect opportunity to embrace making a smaller footprint. We are too wasteful and destructive to the planet. Are you going to go alternate G? You're switching from Tesla, though, G, apparently.
I find that interesting. What a time. Get into an accident in the Tesla, and literally a couple days later, $5 a gallon.
I can't believe not even 6 hours after we had that conversation on the show.
It's crazy.
You sent me that message here.
All
right. Here, Chris in Marysville says, this is about Cal versus Randy.
Yeah.
Chris in Marysville says, I believe you're wrong on this one, G. Sportsmanship will always be part of the game. I mean, what would you actually do if they shook hands? Would it change the outcome of the game? I don't think so. I just think it was kind of childish, honestly. Different strokes for different folks.
Sure, that was a good text. Agree. Good text.
253 says, if you're a great competitor but can't be a good sport, then you've already lost.
Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, I don't think that they were good sports all the time.
Yeah.
So I disagree. Words to live by. What do you got?
All right, this one's a simple one, and I think it fits the theme of our show today. Helen Keller says, alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much.
Okay, Paul. I see you, baby. Nick, what's up, man?
Well, there's always some beef amongst some athletes in these sports, from the rivalries with fans to smack talk on and off the court. And if you think there isn't any aftermath that shows, you'd be fooled to act like all the drama built came to a close. But the only beef I'm having at these games in front of players is some hot dogs and a burger with the toppings for those layers. Maybe a little extra beef dished out, too. If a Niners or Astro fan tries to start something up with me, too, I'm not letting that come to a close.
Okay. All right. Well, good show today. We got through. Tomorrow's going to be Wednesday. We'll be back again. We'll see what's going to be in the news. Oh, I do know that Dr. Jason Johnson, he is going to be joining the show tomorrow, so that'll be a good time. The Jake and Spike show, they're coming in next. Make sure you stick around for that. Hey, thank you, Paul. Appreciate all your help, man.
Happy to be here.
Nick, thank you.
You too, dude.
Lori, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, you too.
Hey, did my buddy get to hear the sound?
Oh, my goodness. You made his day.
Did I? Wesley, huh?
Wesley.
Yes.
Our guy.
Wesley, I hope you had a good day at school today if you hear this again, man. Wesley's my little buddy. All right. The Jake and Spike Show coming in next. We appreciate you for listening. I love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals. Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free. free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at